Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Predators officially arrived in the USA. That means OpTic Scrims are underway. Last night they played their first couple of sets against the Carolina Royal Ravens, a team now with pretty much a week of Scrim experience in this game. OpTic didn't particularly though. The hardpoint rotations, Dashy did drop a chopper gunner in the final map. Very early days here and not exactly the result that many of the green wall would have wanted to happen. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. There's so much going on today. Firstly, quickly on the Halo side, because we said the other day there were rumours, leaked initially by Shotzzy to be fair, that aBeZy was going to get dropped from OpTic. That's now happened, so aBeZy out of the OpTic Halo team. What his next adventure is, not sure. The rumour the other day was Penguin, formerly of SSG, might be joining OpTic. Now Penguin's changed his name. I don't really know what's going on anymore. I know there's been some tweets and rumours indicating that there might be big change in the Halo scene right now. So maybe there's more to this potential transition than meets the eye. But, you know, historically, dropping aBeZy doesn't tend to go so well for the team that does so. We'll see if it works out for OpTic as the time progresses. Now, the MTZ. I said yesterday, right, that it was wishful thinking, but there was some hope, maybe, that we could have a 3-weapon meta with the rival SMG, the MCW, the ACR, basically the main AR, and then the MTZ, which was developed as, well, basically the flex gun, it seems, of the game. And we saw some teams using 2 MTZs, 1 MCW, and 1 SMG. What started to happen yesterday, though, and Clay mentioned this on stream in their earlier practices, you started to see 3 MTZs. It would be the AR basically was still there, the MCW, but then the MTZ would be used as the middle ground gun, and the rival was not really utilized. Even, you know, aBeZy was putting out this weapon instead of the SMG, and you started to see 3 MTZs, 1 MCW, which gets to the point where the teams decided, you know what, we want to keep an SMG in the game. And it's funny, right? We're a week in, we've got all these weapons banned. I don't think even a couple of days ago people knew the MTZ was really any good. Now it's GA'd. So this is how quickly things move. But again, it's one of these GAs, like the knife GA, like the red dot mandated GA, that I don't massively mind. I know that it's frustrating, but if it gets to the point where 3 of these are getting used every map and no SMGs are even viable anymore, then I get it, right? Does it mean the meta's going to be better? Not necessarily, but hopefully, look, we always get 2-weapon metas. It's just how it is, and maybe at some point this season we're going to see 2 rivals, 2 MCWs, which I don't think is so bad. But the MTZ apparently is officially gone now, and based on some of the results last night, we can see why. Clay was actually mentioning it during this game as well, that the MTZ was probably going to go. Couple of spawns, we've got to say. Here on Invasion, it's, I think, as bad as it gets really on this map. This is from the OpTic set of scrims. Here's Dashy spawning up right in Clay's line of sight. Clay takes him down. It's this street and it's the other streets that have absolutely disastrous spawns. I don't really understand why they're so bad, but they're so bad. Like, have a look at this one, right? If I can just make sure this is kind of on screen for you guys. So, here we go. Number 8 has just died, and the hill has just spawned up, and we see number 6 on the red team is in the hard point. 7, 5, 6, all of the blue team are kind of coming through. So, where do you think 8 should spawn in this scenario? I would probably say in the back somewhere. It makes sense for him to spawn maybe here, near 7, near 5. Just, you know, they've got control of the point. This is the Palace Hill, the almost unbreakable hill here. And look, I don't mind if the spawns on this hard point are anchored a little bit more towards spawning players out, just because then it means that breaking is possible. But in theory, you're controlling the hill, you've got control of the back spawns. 8 should spawn around here somewhere, right? Especially as time then progresses, the respawn delay starts to come through. And sure, at roughly this time, well, we see number 8 where he does eventually spawn, but at this exact time, when just before 8 spawns up, the blue team is pushing up. They don't really have control of much, you know. Let's say 7 had just been killed or 5 had just been killed, then maybe I get why 8 might spawn out in a spot similar to where number 8 died. But where 8 spawns makes no sense. 8 spawns right here next to 4 and shoots 4 in the back and cuts to the rotation. Like, that's the spawn. It's a similar one to what Dashy just got. For some reason, they just love spawning you there all the time. Doesn't matter what the circumstances are. This street has so many nightmare spawns, and it just doesn't make any sense. What is the logic here? I don't understand. So every single year, even years like Cold War, the game starts, we talk about the spawns are bad. It's always a problem, but like this map, Invasion Hardpoint is good. Like, I know that compared to, okay, some of the hardpoint locations might not be great. There's some problems with it, but this is, I think, going to be one of the better hardpoint maps in the game. But the fact that it's getting ruins like this at the moment is just, I mean, if you're number 4, you've got to be fuming here. Like, this guy you've killed just spawns in and shoots you in the back. Like, yeah, I'd be fuming. But yeah, things on that one definitely need to get changed. So let's talk about the OpTic Texas side. Dashy's moves like downtown next to MettalZ, so we know that like MettalZ and Dashy are 2 doors down from each other. I don't want to be the poor fella that's in between there. Like, you know, MettalZ will be streaming all day. Dashy will probably be streaming all night. You know how it is. Maybe MettalZ could be charged of making sure Dashy's up on time. But Pred did make it back as of yesterday, so I'm guessing he was pretty jet lagged, to be fair, when these streams were going on. But yeah, so we were kind of wondering, was it Thursday? Was it Friday? Was it Saturday? It was going to be one of those 3 days. Pred got the flight maybe slightly earlier than we expected. Got back there yesterday and was straight into practice immediately. Now, OpTic's practice ended up being against Carolina Royal Ravens. Now, they were also playing other scrims earlier in the day, and I got to say, the scrims they played were not particularly impressive. As Drazah says, hitting new levels, at least take me to dinner first next time, says GodRx, because they got slammed in this series. For the first few days, most of the teams, most of the scrims have been very competitive. Carolina versus FaZe, though, last night, of all the teams to maybe take a bit of a step forward, I'm not surprised that it's FaZe, and after losing the first 2 maps pretty marginally, to be fair, 229, 250, crazy actually that Subbase managed to go to 250, which we don't see particularly often, but yeah, then after that, it wasn't going so well. I mean, it's pretty funny to think about the fact that Clay's face at the start of this series didn't look so mad, and then at the end of the series, Clay was thinking of what is even going on here, because they got 60 point clubbed on Skid Row and 70 odd point clubbed on Karachi. So yeah, lots of things to think about there for the Ravens, but we know playing FaZe can be a bit of a challenge. Carolina also went on to play LAG later on, the new LAG team, and I'm pretty sure they got 4-0'd in that series as well, or they at least, maybe they won 1 or 2 maps in there, but there was a couple that weren't particularly competitive. So Carolina didn't have a great day of practice, to be honest. They got kind of smoked by FaZe. They didn't have a great time against LAG, but then they decided to play OpTic in their first set of scrims on this game. Also to mention, Team Asim, which is, just to mention, Exceed, Kremp, Brack, and Asim, so slightly different to the squad that we saw that was potentially going to be Los Angeles Gunners. They took down Rocker 4-1 here, so just a few other scrim results, but then we get the official first set of OpTic Texas scrims with a fill-in, says Dashy. So people thought that it was going to be Scump, but then it was noted that actually no. In the OpTic Discord, if you have like a Discord extension, you can see who's in the private channel, something like that anyway. So we can see Kenny, Pred, big fan I'm thinking is Karma, to be honest, Dashy, Shotzzy, and then JP Krez. So it was quite clear they were ready to go, and they played their first ever set of scrims on this new title. Now, them not doing so well here should not be a massive surprise. Like, if you guys have hopped on and played Hardpoint for the first time on this game, not really knowing the maps, like, I was running around dying from people on rooftops. I had no idea what was going on, what the rotations even were, where to go. So it's not really a surprise that in your first ever set of scrims against a team that's been playing for an entire week, that it doesn't go so well. This is one of the reasons why it would have been good for OpTic if Pred had been there immediately, because losing 1 week of practice is not great, and it means that there's a lot of catching up to do already in terms of understanding the way these maps are going to play. So map 1, they played Karachi 250 to 112. OpTic almost get put in the 100-point club. Shot to go 6 in 14. Not his best map here, and it continues in a pretty similar trends. As time progresses though, OpTic generally got the hang of it more, and definitely comparing the second set of matches they played compared to the first set, it was far more competitive, really. Gotta say as well, despite the fact that as a team, understanding where to go, what to do wasn't their strong point, Dashy looks really, really good at this game. Like, watching his POV is crazy. To be fair, GodRx was also killing it on the other side as well. He dropped 44. I know that Subbase isn't considered the best map, but I do kind of like Subbase because there's a lot of kills to go around on Subbase. You know, it's possible to drop 50 on this map, even maybe more than that, which is not the case elsewhere. So I kind of hope that Subbase stays in the rotation, to be honest. But yeah, Dashy almost had 40. He was 39 in 30. They still lost the map though. They did finally win one here on Terminal. I think it took them a few times to do so. And Pred was talking during this, like, you know, what do you mean library, bookshop? Like, where is that? What's the rotation? Where do I go type thing? So it was very early days, obviously, for OpTic, and let's be honest, Ravens started scrimming this game 3 hours after release, you know, so they've had a week head start, and OpTic are brand new. So sure, they lost the scrims at OpTic, but I don't think it massively matters. But of course, people are going to roast them, you know, and I don't really understand exactly why people go so hard on this stuff, because, you know, it's just scrims, and you got to understand that the more that OpTic get clowned on for losing a scrim to Ravens here, the more they're going to be like, well, we ain't going to stream the practice. You know, it's always how it goes, and I think it's kind of 50-50. The fans go too hard on OpTic or other teams when they lose scrims, and then it's like 50% the players being a bit soft about it. But hopefully OpTic continue to stream. I know they have said that probably for tomorrow they will do their scrims off stream, just because there's a lot for them to talk about and to learn, and when you're streaming it, there's, you know, you can't fully focus on learning as much as you'd like to. So maybe for the next couple of days OpTic might turn the streams off, but hopefully they'll still be scrimming teams that are streaming, so we get to see how they're progressing. So OpTic lost this one. They also went all the way to a map 10 here. They played an invasion hardpoint, and Dashy dropped a chopper gunner. This clip actually is pretty mental. I mean, it goes like for a minute 30 when he's just getting all the kills, and eventually finds himself picking up a chopper gunner over towards this P5 hardpoint, and I think this 3-piece as well was one of the pretty nice ones of the lot. So they then went all the way down to the wire. It was like 200 to 220 or something, and Dashy was like, can I call the chopper gunner in? Is that allowed? And it turns out the chopper gunner is not technically GA'd, I don't think, by the pros. I guess the idea is that it's not going to be allowed in the official rule set. My opinion is, if you get a chopper gunner, you go on your 12 streak or whatever it is, you deserve to be able to call that thing in, you know, that's half a way to a nuke. So, you know, I think if you get a chopper gunner, you should be able to use it. And that's what Dashy gets here. He goes to the end of the game. It's a tight affair. It's the final map they were going to play. And, well, he calls it in and uses it to win the game for the teams. They won this one 232-230 after Carolina just said, all right, we're just going to end the map then and there because Dashy called in the chopper gunner. So, and people were, you know, talking on either side of this, bit of controversy, I guess. I'm not really sure it massively matters. It's all in good fun. But, yeah, the fact that Dashy dropped a chopper gunner was, again, pretty impressive. So they won this map here. Dashy dropped like 28 or whatever it was. GodRx was generally doing well in this set of scrims, and actually these were the stats here that that COD League Stats put together on this one. So as we can see, 8-2 total map counts. Dashy had a 1.15, Shotzzy, Kenny, Pred, all with very similar numbers, but, you know, Pred's not even really played this game yet. GodRx had a 1.2. So impressive in Carolina, especially because they weren't having a great time earlier in the day. If OpTic had scrimmed FaZe last night, I can't imagine that would have been pretty at all, but it's not expected to be in these very early days. If you look at the discrepancies in hardpoint point differential, the first 5 maps they played, Carolina outscored them by 327. The second 5 maps, 214. So, you know, give them a couple of days, OpTic will be right up there in contention, I'm sure, once they really know what's going on. But I just don't really understand why people expect OpTic to come in their very first set of scrims and, like, dominate the competition. It's just not how it's going to work. And as JB's like, yeah, some of you guys are comedy. People wonder why players don't stream scrims. They will turn off the streams eventually. Hopefully they last for some time. I know that Clay intends to keep streaming for a little while longer, hopefully until pretty much the game is about to begin. So yeah, good stuff from Carolina. Lots to learn on the OpTic Texas side, absolutely. But well, there's plenty of time to do so. But 1 week of practice, you can see how much difference that makes. 1 week of learning, that first week of learning is the biggest learning curve you're going to get of the entire season, given the maps and the spawns and all the chaos that is currently being played. So there's a long time to go on this one, but very much interested to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
I don't know what real one.
Let's go, bro. They're gonna hard play.
Yeah, let me get Scrap. I'm burping my chopper.
Yeah, real one to G.
Is chopper G8? I don't even know.
Yeah,
We'll just say we didn't know.
Oh, you might as well use it.
Okay.
No.
Oh shit. I got the green light. Like.
I'm on mid, bro.
I got two. There's last two in hill. Last two in hill. Last two in hill, bro. I'm gonna spawn kill the rest, bro. They're back here.
Hey, back on me, bro. That's the ice cream on me, bro.
I don't know. I mean, oh, how does he just drop at the perfect staircase? Look at this guy.
Corner.
I have no idea where they're spawning, bro.
How about you back? I'm on right now, though. They can climb up on the hill.
Where are they? First end of the game.
He's so tight. He's so tight.